Are you waiting for me?
Yeah, I mean, do you want me to introduce two people who were dragged through a lot of mud in the last couple of weeks? Of course, you know my co-host over here, Stephen Woods. And joining us right now is our brand manager / program director for 97.3 The Fan, Adam Klug, to share a little bit of information and clear some things up about what has been going on the last couple of weeks here at the station. Hi, Adam.
Hi, guys. Happy New Year.
Let's turn on his microphone.
Let's get his mic on. There we go.
thought you were talking.
We did do this during
Yeah,
the
we
break.
it still didn't work.
Happy New Year to you
Happy
guys.
New Year.
Happy New Year to our audience as well.
Happy New Year.
A lot has been said. A lot has been written about what's going on here at 97.3 The Fan over the last 2 weeks, week and a half. But we have not said anything or made any announcements. And so I wanted to come in and share that we here at 97.3 The Fan have decided to make a programming change in our midday time slot. This is the first time this has come from us here at 97.3 The Fan. And I've got to say that this was an extremely difficult decision for me. It was difficult. It was excruciating. And when you bring in the human element, it compounds the decision. I have nothing but the utmost respect for Coach Kentera, both professionally and personally. And he has done a lot of really terrific things for us. And we here at 97.3 The Fan are very appreciative of all of his contributions here at 97.3 The Fan. And furthermore, I and we wish him all the best in all of his future endeavors. So don't have a single negative thing to say about Coach Kentera. We wish him the best. He'll always be part of the Fan family here at 97.3 The Fan.
How did this thing spiral so out of control?
So I'm not privy to the origins of how things led to what ultimately led to it spiraling out of control, but what was it? It was Thursday the 21st, I believe, after the Christmas and holiday extravaganza, after all the shows except Coach Kentera's show had gone dark, and the Union Tribune put out an article saying that John had been fired, which was inaccurate at the time, and Hacksaw, who many people know, put out a tweet saying the same thing and dragging my name and our station through the mud. And quite frankly, a narrative was put out there that we had fired him right before Christmas. And as I said, nothing but respect for Coach professionally and personally. And I hope that we have a long-lasting relationship moving forward. But I do think that there are some misinformation out there that needs to be cleared up in terms of the station and myself. And the biggest narrative out there that is false, 100% baseless, was that we fired Coach Kentera right before Christmas. I had a meeting with Coach on October 12th. He was not fired on October 12th either. I informed him that we were planning on making a programming change in middays. I told him on October 12th for multiple reasons. The first was I wanted to honor him, and I wanted to give him the opportunity for us to put out a statement, for him to talk about it, and for us to have a farewell tour and to celebrate all of his accomplishments here at 97.3 The Fan through the end of the year. I wanted to give him that because I thought he deserved that and had earned that right with all the great work he had done. Furthermore, I told him I absolutely wanted him to remain a part of our station and offered him an opportunity to do live talk shows for us on Saturday and Sunday mornings, in addition to staying with us and when other opportunities arose. And I told him I really, really wanted him to accept that and be a part of our station.
No, you can't blame him for not
Correct, that's his
accepting that
prerogative.
at all. Like if this same convo happened with me, me personally would have said, "Oh, if you don't want me here, I'm out." And
I think Adam's also smart enough to know that those last 8 weeks or whatever, with you knowing all of that information,
wouldn't
have gone well
smart
for Adam.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So I from my perspective, when I saw the Hacksaw tweet, so I don't typically share private conversations that I have with people. I texted Coach that Thursday, and I said I always enjoyed working with you. I had a good relationship with Coach when we went to the ball game the last time. Me and my wife sat and talked with his wife the entire time. What do you know? What did you hear? Oh, you heard that? I heard the same thing. Like I've known Coach before we started working together here. how this narrative got spun that I had something to do with this was the one that was really the most troubling for me. I've taken a lot of shrapnel over the week. I texted Lee's tweet to Coach Kentera again, and I said, Coach, I really hope this isn't your perspective. I said, look, here's a quote. I really hate to think this is your perception. Hopefully it's not. You and I always got along, in my view. He said, what is this? I said, it's from Hacksaw. He says, I have zero idea about this. Keep me out of this. I have no problem with you at all. I said, cool. He said, enjoy the holidays. I certainly will. And that's where we left it. And I'll say this for the record, too. He has every right to be upset. Every right. But you have every right to make a change when you want to make a change. The other thing I wanted to say is this, the narrative that, I or we or whatever.
You want me to put it into that?
Well, go ahead. I mean, yeah, if you want to.
Nobody here at the station, none of our talent, had any input whatsoever into the decision to make a change in middays, nor did they have any input into who would be replacing Coach in middays. And furthermore, the San Diego Padres had no say whatsoever into the decision to make a change in middays, nor did they have any say into who will be taking over in middays. Period. End of story. The decision was made here locally by myself and my boss, Michael Valenzuela, who supported the decision. Stephen Woods and his family have been dragged through the mud, and it was undeserved, and it was perpetuated by a guy in Hacksaw who, from everything I've gathered, has done plenty of backstabbing in his past and sent me a very nasty email, and he had the audacity to take a shot at the track records of who will be taking over in middays. And for someone with a track record of his own filled with nasty, vile, heinous, racist statements that he has made over the years, it takes cojones to take a shot at other people's track record. And that's what Hacksaw did.
And, from my perspective, something I wanted to make sure that's out there. I got 14 years in this business. There are two, that I have gone into a manager's office and vouched for. Two. One of them did not work out at all. The other one was Paul Reindl. And that's worked out beautifully. You were there when I went in there for an hour and said, if he goes, you guys are toast. I'm gonna destroy you. Right? That's it. Two people. Nobody else. Nobody that's starting on this station. Nobody that was at this station. Nobody that's ever coming to this station. I don't put my neck on the line for anybody. I'm 50-50 on that one. Paulie's paid off. The other one did not. Again, I could have probably posted my convo a week ago and it would have ended some of this garbage. I didn't, but I'm pretty upset by it, but at the end of the day, I have a great amount of respect for Coach and what he's done. And like I said, I mean, from the get-go, I was like, oh, I'd be pissed too. I'd be really pissed.
I just want to add, Coach is a mentor of mine. I have known him for the entirety of the time I have been in this business. He helped me get into radio. He deserves nothing but congratulations on what has been an amazing radio career. I hope if he wants to continue it, he can at some point. I will also say, though, that, and Coach did a great job, as he always does. I have also been let go from radio jobs, and I thought I did a great job when I did them as well. That happens in this business a lot. It just is part of radio, and it's just an unfortunate part of the world, but that is what this business is. And it'll happen to us at some point. We're not immune to it, Woods. I know that. This is radio. Things change all the time in this business.
Michael literally told me this morning, you're closer to being out the door than you are to being here. And I said, I know that.
By here, you mean making the decisions about who's on the air?
No. You're closer to being out than,
right.
The fact that somebody would give me that kind of power, I mean, there's, certainly it's flattering, but it's just untrue. It's just untrue.
So the other thing, by the way, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, it's all right.
The other thing that people have been upset about was the fact that Coach's final show had gotten canceled, and people said that we were gutless and didn't give him a chance to say goodbye. When I spoke with Coach back in October, He asked me when I offered him the chance to finish out I offered him the chance to finish out the year in his midday time slot and then transition into weekends. He told me he wanted his final show to be December 22nd, which is a Friday. I said, cool, that's what it'll be. So everything was lined up and he was scheduled to do his final show on Friday, December 22nd. However, when he spoke to the newspaper and to Hacksaw and whoever else prior to his final show at a time when we were not able to comment for reasons I'm not getting into. We couldn't comment at that time, and we didn't comment at the time, and the narrative got put out there that we fired him right before Christmas. And at that point, the final show, there was no decision to be made other than to not have that show, because it would have been 4 straight hours of people commenting and reacting to a completely false narrative that was out there.
Yeah, the job that some of the people, again, and there's so many of the people that I like and respect, but the whole story kind of wasn't told, and listen, it's unfortunately the nature of this business, and like I said earlier, people just say stuff now, and forget the repercussions. Like I said, I have no beef with Coach at all, and as our text exchange said, he didn't have any beef with me, allegedly. So I'm with you, Benny. I wish him the best and hope he goes out and kicks ass and and does whatever he wants to do. But yeah, the narrative that I was behind the scenes pulling the strings, I just don't have that kind of power, guys. I don't. Somebody said to me yesterday, well, you want to be the head guy there. I go, buddy, I leave at 10:03. I am out the door faster than you can shake a stick at it. At 10:03, I'm out the door of this place. I have a life outside of it. I have a family outside of it. They've been dragged into this crap as well. And listen, you can hate me all you want, but that's not a narrative I'm going to be okay with. I don't do that to people. And I certainly didn't do it to Coach.
The thing that's really the most disappointing to me is the lack of journalism that's been done in the last few weeks. People have written and said stuff that is completely unfair with only getting one side of the story. And despite the paper reaching out to me for comment, which I wasn't allowed to give, that doesn't preclude them from doing their own legwork, as some people on social media have done. We spoke to Coach in October. There has been a job posting on our website since October, right? The paper didn't look at that. They didn't do any of that. Everything was still up on our website as well because he was still an active employee. Jay Paris wrote an article that completely seemed as if we treated Coach unceremoniously on his way out the door and without the level of respect that he deserved, which, by the way, was of the utmost importance of me to treat him with. It said we should have given him a farewell tour, which I offered him, and he declined. And it said that we kicked him in the gut while he was tying a bow on Christmas presents, which, again, is not true.
Yeah,
there are people in this town who I have relationships with, both personally and professionally, as well as people I don't have relationships with, who are quite eager to jump on and buy what was being sold without thinking, maybe there's another side to the story. You've all heard, if it's too good to be true, it probably isn't. It goes the other way as well. If it's too terrible to be true, it probably isn't.
Yeah, I mean, I felt terrible for you being dragged, which is why I punched down at Hacksaw, and you didn't deserve that at all. And, it is what it is at this point. I'm kind of over talking about Lee and the rest of them with their fables.
I wish him all the best with his Chargers podcast and his mini polls.
Yes, have a ball.
Ultimately, Coach is a good guy. Adam is a good guy.
Yeah.
I have no idea how this could have spun out the way that it did. But Adam, thank you for coming in and setting the record straight and answering some questions and being who you are. And again, nothing but thanks to the Coach John Kentera for everything that he has done and been in this town. It has been a remarkable career. Now, you've left one big question unanswered.
Who are the Padres going to sign?
And that...
We will have an announcement.
We'll wait.
In about an hour, because I know Woods is so into the long tease.
I love the long tease.
In about an hour, we will announce who will be taking over on middays.
That is coming up at 9:35 this morning. Stay tuned for that.